I call the Chico Unified School Board meeting to order. We are going into closed session, and we will come back to public open session at 6 o'clock. See you then. Thank you. I am calling the Chico Unified, School Board to session. We were in closed session, and we have nothing to report from closed session. And with that, we will go to the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So with that, we move to student reports.
Well, as you can tell, we have a crowd here tonight, and a very, very quiet crowd at that. Our theme tonight is student wellness, and we are going to start off highlighting an elementary program, and then we're going to hear from all three of our junior highs presenting on student wellness.
Cool.
So I'd like to call up Kim Rogers, principal of Sierra View Elementary, and she's going to get us kicked off on the elementary portion.
All righty, I'll get us kicked off. First of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing us this opportunity to bring Sierra View to you and share something that we are very proud of. And I've been told we have a limited amount of time, and I know that my counselor, Mandy Robertson, wants to fit and squeeze in every little tiny piece because she's super passionate about what she does. We all are at Sierra View, and I think we've got a really good thing going to meet the needs of our kids. So Mandy, come on up. She's our school counselor at Sierra View.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for supporting student mental health. We know that that is paramount right now, something that we absolutely must focus on. And I am privileged to be in a position where I have met one of my professional goals, which is to create a model wellness center at Sierra View. I was hired by Sierra View last year. I was in private practice before that and participated a lot in the recovery efforts following the campfire with VCOE, and realized that what we really need is physical space to provide services in addition to the people to provide services. So with that, let's look at our wellness center. What is a wellness center? Well, the wellness center is a safe and nurturing space for all kids, with a focus on social and emotional well-being. This is a picture of the entry of our wellness center. We embrace, I think as a district, we are now embracing the whole child.
Yes.
And I could not be more proud to work for a district that does that, because we know that we cannot separate social and emotional health from academic success. It is essential. We have to look at the whole child and the well-being of each and every student. Comprehensive school counseling at every level, including wellness services, are vital to addressing the current mental health crisis that our children are experiencing across the U.S. We take a trauma-informed approach as a campus, as a whole team. Definitely in the Wellness Center, we feel like it's absolutely necessary due to the successive traumas that our kids and our community have experienced, especially over the past 4 years. We have made a very necessary shift in accessibility to services for all of our kids. By making the Wellness Center a space where all kids are welcome, it is open, and we're focusing on building relationships and maintaining relationships with all kids, so that even though they might start coming into the Wellness Center because they're looking to make friends or come in out of the cold on a morning when they're dropped off early to school, we're developing relationships with kids so that when something comes up for them, when they are triggered. For example, I had 2 students extremely triggered today by a fire drill. Makes sense, right? Our kids are triggered by that. They know me. Call Miss Mandy. Can Miss Mandy come and get me? Yes, I can. And I was able to bring them to their safe space in the Wellness Center with a safe person they already have a relationship with. Our goal is to also just erase the stigma associated with addressing social and emotional well-being, with the idea that we all have mental health. We should all be taking care of ourselves and our mental health every day. Here's just a little vision for you. We have some different calm spaces. So self-regulating is very important for all of our kids. So is co-regulation. So we know that part of a trauma-informed approach is being able to be with a child and co-regulate with them, as in mirror what they're doing, provide your sense of calm so that they can emulate that and sit and be calm with you. We use the Zen zone there a lot for children who would like to self-regulate before maybe processing verbally. And then there's my office where we do a lot of co-regulation. You'll also see a lot of students start on my special blue chair in the back that's got Fluffernutter the dog on it. Kids will sit in that chair and hold Fluffernutter to start the day. It's very common. Three different kids were doing that this morning. We also have whisper rooms, which were provided by the district, which are fantastic. We have two. We have the Rainbow Room, where I do a lot more art and talk-focused counseling. The Tiger Room, our younger kids enjoy being in there. We're doing a lot of play-based relationship building and healing and growth in there. We're supporting healthy play every day. We've got a group space there. Creativity and Connection Center is what I call it. Creativity art is very important to connection and being able to process non-verbally, and then collaborative play space. You can see a lot of children are just spread out there. That's what the Wellness Center looks like every morning. Kids in every nook and cranny. Maybe even the space is very important, and I would like to advocate for that for all of our kids. All of our kids in the district deserve a wellness center. It has been a game changer at Sierra View. Our climate and culture was awesome before. It is even better now. But we have to create the space for that in our schools. As we're building new schools, let me step back and say I'm definitely a child advocate, and so I'm not just up here to tell you how proud we are of our wellness center, but that we need the space for this. All of our sites need this space for this. The people are there. There's Miss G. She's our targeted case manager. She works part-time. Miss Janine is our counseling assistant part-time, and then there's me full-time. Having that wellness center, not just for our kids as a safe space, but as a collaborative space for me to work with my team and be in constant communication about the needs of different kids is essential. On a lot of our elementary sites, we have our targeted case manager on one side of the school, our counselor on the other, and a counseling assistant somewhere else. I feel so fortunate that I'm in a place where I can constantly communicate. It just results in the best of care for our kids. Who utilizes the wellness center? All of our kids. It's a Tier 1 social emotional support. We start our year out in our weekly SEL lessons with taking a tour of the wellness center. So every year, we know that by week 3, every single child has been inside of the wellness center. They have touched base, they have received a tour, they know that it's there for them. It's open daily from 8 to 8:30 for any drop-in. We're averaging 37 kids a morning right now. Drop-ins this year so far, we are just under 2,000 children have signed in to the drop-in book. I think that number probably says more than anything else. Currently, 62 kids receive planned wellness services every week in the Wellness Center. That's counseling one-on-one, POP with my counseling assistant, Power of Play one-on-one, or my counseling assistant with 2 students, and groups with myself and my counseling assistant. We have 8 different groups running right now. On a typical day, 55 to 65 kids are served in the Wellness Center by our team. And this year, one of the things I wanted to do was reach out to our community and start providing the space for therapists to come in and provide school-based services on site. And we're doing that with North Valley Catholic Social Services, Youth for Change, and Victor Counseling Services. Our kids already feel like it's a safe space if their counselors are coming from these outside organizations, which I make referrals to, and using our space as well. That only makes the communication and collaboration better, and kids continually feel like this is my place. This is another home for me. I'd like to introduce you to 7 of our Sierra View Eagles. Hi, friends. Hi. All right, today we're going to share what is our favorite thing about the Wellness Center. Melanie, can you go first?
What I love about the Wellness Center is that it keeps me calm whenever I frustrated.
Thank you. Hadley?
I like the Wellness Center because if someone gets mad or sad, they can come and go into the quiet room and talk to a grown-up about it.
Clover?
I I love the Wellness Center because Miss Mandy's really nice, and whenever the girls are having drama in my grade, we all come in here and she helps us.
I like the Wellness Center because whenever I don't feel good and not have a good day, I can come in here and Miss Mandy can cheer me up.
Jasper?
What I love about the Wellness Center is when me and my best friend were having problems with our relationship, we talked about it in here and our relationship was repaired.
Barrick?
My favorite part about the Wellness Center is that if I'm sad or something, I can come in here and draw peacefully.
Thank you.
What I like
Austin.
about the Wellness Center is the lunch bunch where you get to like eat your lunch in here and just talk about stuff and do stuff.
Thank you. Thank you, friends.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys. Can you wave goodbye?
Bye.
So, all of those kids were very eager to participate. I think I could probably randomly pull any student from our campus and ask them what they loved about the Wellness Center, and they would have similar things to say. I'm not going to go into detail about this because I know we have limited time, but the questions are, well, what is going on in the Wellness Center? We have a lot going on in the Wellness Center. Everything on that list except the top thing, which is SEL, which happens in the classroom, is happening daily and weekly in the Wellness Center. Group counseling from me, individual counseling from me, friendship group from my counseling assistant, POP and PALS, which is my counseling assistant with 1 or 2 children, lunch bunch, which is what the last student was talking about, check-ins, which are 10 to 15 minute check-ins, which might be in play, sitting down, or I do a lot of walk and talks with our students. One of the things we learned through the pandemic was how important it is to get kids outside and how useful that can be to process while moving in nature. Conflict mediation and restorative justice, sometimes kids refer themselves for conflict mediations. That's happening more and more, like, I just don't know what to do, and they come talk to me, and then we just have a group and we talk about it. New student orientation, every new student who comes to our school, I receive a notification from our office manager. That new student is pulled about a week after. They get a tour of the Wellness Center and a check-in, how are things going for you. Morning drop-in, and then art adventure with Miss Mandy is a much coveted prize that kids work for on our PBIS expectations. The social emotional learning is happening in the classroom. This is critical to developing those relationships with each and every one of our students. We provide about 35 lessons in each class throughout the year. And those are focused on developing their emotional regulation skills, empathy, problem solving, all of those things we know to be important life tools for kids to carry with them. There are some kids engaging in wellness in the Wellness Center. We've got kids lining up to check in for the day. We have a boys group there, free play, art adventure. A lot of art is created and very much needs to be displayed throughout the Wellness Center, and more free play from morning time. How is the Wellness Center accessed? Drop in. Kids can drop in. Students are frequently self-referring, so they either let a teacher know that they want to come to the Wellness Center. I have a form online, a quick Google survey form that they can fill out. Parents call and let me know, my kid's having a rough day. Can you spend some time with my child? Absolutely, we can do that. I have time built into my schedule every day for those kinds of check-ins. Teachers let me know. The janitor lets me know. Yard duty lets me know. We are all a community and we're all a village, so any referral that comes through, we're going to address that as with speed, really. Planned services are something that we decide as a team through our wellness team, which meets twice a month, and we get referrals from all of those same places, every stakeholder. And then other services, whenever we identify something a student needs or a student is in crisis or we need to do a de-escalation, we also use the Wellness Center for that. One final person to speak to you today, this is Luke. He has 2 children at Sierra View who have really benefited.
My name is Luke Torville, and my kiddos are Hadley Torville and Fox Torville.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about the wellness services they've received?
Well, my daughter Hadley was in group, and my son and my daughter both, they do the drop-off, and Fox has really been benefiting from the transitioning from here to his class.
What are your thoughts on having the Wellness Center available to you and your kids?
It's amazing. Fox talks about coming here in the mornings. when we're getting ready for school. He said, we gotta hurry because I want to go see Miss Mandy. It's really, I don't know how to describe it, seeing my kids like unfold into seeing, their own interest, something that they are developing themselves. They love it here.
And that's it. If anyone would like a tour, please give me a call or email me if you want more information. Happy to provide that.
All right. Oh, Eileen?
Yes. Absolutely. So we have 3 different SEL curriculums. We use Kimochis for Kinder First. We use Toolbox, which has the 12 essential life tools in it for second, third. And then we use Second Step for fourth, fifth. And we use zones of regulation across all levels, which is fantastic. And you might even hear some from our middle schools tonight that some of them are also using zones of regulation. So we're using common language. We have visuals in all of our classrooms as well as the Wellness Center. We're doing zones check-ins, and then we're asking kids, what zone are you in? What is the feeling associated with that? Because we want to increase emotional vocabulary. What do you think the trigger was? And what tool can you use to take care of yourself right now? But we believe in starting at kindergarten. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Hey, Madam Eileen, I think your microphone might be off.
On at all.
I text
Thank you. Oh, you texted me? I have that off, too. It's a meeting, Dr. Kaiser. I don't have my phone on during the meeting. The question, the Wellness Services classroom, you were talking about how essential it is to have that space. Is that a regular classroom-sized space?
I think so. It's a standard portable.
Okay, because that's one of the things that as we march into the facilities master plan and start looking at being able to continue to provide these types of services, we need to know the square footage of what's working.
I really appreciate that.
And the other question I had is on the back, and thank you for this, by the way, that really helped. Under planned services, stakeholder to the wellness team and arranged by one of the wellness center staff and communicated with teacher and family. And it says permission forms are required. Does that mean the parent needs to sign a permission form for this?
Yes, for planned services. So if,
Oh, okay.
So not necessarily, like if a child just needs to check in, that's a tier 1 support that we're providing to all students. If a child has a specific concern or something they're presenting or something they would like to work on that I need to develop a plan for that we're going to have a weekly schedule for, we're going to make sure we have a guardian permission for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yes, go ahead, Tom.
Thanks. First of all, like Eileen said, this is amazing. I'm really excited to see this kind of thing coming to fruition. On that note, roughly how long did it take for you to get this set up from getting the okay to having it fully functional the way you want?
So my family and I camped out in the Wellness Center for a few weeks last summer. My CrossFit group donated $2,000. My husband and I put in $2,000. And we probably put in, 80 to 100 man hours between my husband and I and put it together.
Dang. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I did not ask the district for anything. I really wanted to hit the ground running. I really felt like we're bringing our kids back from COVID, and we need to have this space up and ready to go. So it was me and my tenacity, which is sometimes a little overboard, that just needed to make it happen. So it wasn't as though I asked and was denied. It was really just something that I needed to do.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Matt?
I had the privilege of touring this facility about a month and a half ago, and it is exactly as she has described it. It's a very serene environment, and I can imagine a lot of kids enjoying going and being there. So thank you for what you've done and what you continue to do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim and Mandy and all of Sierra View for putting this together. And we're just going to keep this ball rolling here. I'm going to invite up Dave McKay, and we're going to start with the middle school aspects of wellness.
Hi, I'm Gwen Palmer.
And I'm Ben Donnelly, and we are 8th grade students at Bidwell Junior High. We have been attending here for all 3 years of middle school and have really got to know our school. One thing that makes Bidwell a special place is the value we put on youth development.
Youth development is the belief that every student has something important to contribute to our school. We try to show this culture to our new 6th graders every year during Web Day and follow-up activities throughout the year. Web leaders, which are chosen 8th grade students, reach out to their 6th graders on a regular basis to make sure they're feeling connected to Bidwell and, most importantly, having fun.
Some of our main youth development programs at Bidwell are Wellness Ambassadors, Peer Mediators, Social Mentoring, Club Live, and the Student School Climate Advisory.
These all point to a source of school community and culture.
To start off, Wellness Ambassadors is a program we started at Bidwell that trains 100 student volunteers in age-appropriate mental health skills so that they can be more equipped to support themselves and their friends, including how to lead them to an appropriate adult on campus for help.
We also have peer mediators, where we do something called mediations, where we take time to reconnect, rebuild, and reassure each other in our school culture. Students experiencing peer conflicts may choose to have a peer mediator help work out their problems and just kind of persevere to find ways to come to a solution to help them kind of solve their problems. We also, as peer mediators, we do monthly training to keep our skills sharp.
We all know that some students have a more difficult time making friends and connecting with their peers than others.
At Bidwell, our social mentoring program matches up student volunteers and sometimes chosen students with these kids to provide a safe, structured place for them to have fun and build their social confidence.
Club Live meets weekly at lunch to plan and implement projects to improve the school climate. Past lunchtime activities we've done are appreciation yarn, where you get a piece of yarn and you tie it around your peer's wrists while you're saying something you appreciate about them so they can go throughout the day knowing they're appreciated. It also helps put together a yearly event called World Cafe, where around 70 students come together to talk and create these school climate projects. These projects enhance our youth development culture by putting students to work and making our campus a more welcoming, friendlier place for every student.
So to kind of wrap it up, we also have something called the School Climate Student Advisory. It is a group of about 30 students representing all walks of life who meet monthly with our principal, Mr. McKay, to discuss both negative and positive school climate trends.
This group develops suggestions to take to maintain positive trends and interrupt negative ones.
So to kind of wrap it up, as you can see, our youth development here is huge at our school. And with close to, if not 1,000 kids at our school, every single kid's actions and contributions really matter and make a difference here. We value every single one because it makes up our school family and what we like to call the Bidwell way.
How we all treat each other in order to bring out the best in everyone.
All right. Thank you very much. Very well spoken.
Any questions for our Bidwell students? If not, I'm going to invite Pedro Caldera up, and we're going to hear about Chico Jr.
All right.
Chico Jr. in the house.
Yes, thank you. My name's Sonia Huss. I'm a teacher at Chico Jr., and I lead the web program, and this is some of my web leaders. And presenting tonight will be Zia Miller.
Hi,
My name is Zia, and this is Echo, Cooper, and Madeline. And we are Web Leaders. Our mission at Chico Junior is to support 6th graders as they transition into middle school. As you can see on our t-shirts, our motto this year is paint everywhere with kindness. Web is unique because we teach through fun activities, and we'll demonstrate that today. Madeline, can you help me?
Hola, somos Web Leaders y vamos a enseñarte unas actividades que hicimos durante nuestra orientación de 6º grado.
Let's work as a team to jump while holding the straws with our fingertips. 1, 2, 3, jump. That's okay, reset, reset. 1, 2, 3, jump. Woo! We did it! This activity teaches us that when mistakes happen, we should pick up where we left off and refocus. It also teaches teamwork and valuing a job well done. Web is one more support system keeping our 6th graders afloat. Okay, everybody, get those 6th graders up. We got your back. I got you, girl. We had a welcome carnival. We distributed messages of joy with candy. And we do targeted lessons in 6th grade classes. We help school have success as hard. Thank you for supporting Web.
All right, thank you.
I love your enthusiasm. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, are we ready for Marsh and Mrs. Camp?
All right.
Great job, Chico Junior.
I'm awake. I was waiting for that.
Well, first of all, thank you all for having the junior highs here tonight to present some of the amazing things happening at our sites. I am honored to share some of the culture building activities that are actually happening at Marsh Junior High School. And for this, I want to first acknowledge our teachers. Without them, we would not be able to do the activities that we're doing in this 25-minute advisory period. So following the campfire, which was exacerbated with COVID, our staff saw a need to support students not only academically, but socially, emotionally, as well as behaviorally. And this was a challenge in the normal day schedule, so they voted to it and approved a waiver which initiated an advisory homeroom period at Marsh. Through this, we really were able to push in some interventions for academics as well as social, emotional, and behavioral interventions for our students. And ultimately, advisory became the vehicle that led our school in a positive culture. Tonight, you're going to hear from some of our amazing Marsh Gators regarding some of the school cultural components that we've been able to incorporate in having this advisory period.
Hi, I'm Amalia Brown. I'm an 8th grader at Marsh, and I'm here tonight to talk about the Gator Way and how it helps keep a positive school culture. Our school motto is to be safe, responsible, and respectful. To encourage us on campus, we have teachers and staff that reward positive behavior with Gator Bucks. Students can then use those Gator Bucks to buy cool prizes and treats at something we call the Gator Shack. At the beginning of each semester, to encourage positive behavior, students are shown videos on how to be the best skater you can, which is our goal here at Marsh, for students to be the best skater they can and follow the Gator Way the best they can. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Hi, my name is Mudal Lee, and I'm an 8th grader at Marsh Junior High School. And I'm going to be talking about the social emotional learnings that we do at Marsh. We watch videos from a series called Believe in You, where we hear personal stories that are inspirational and empowering. For example, I watched a video of a company called Do Be Nice, where I learned that kindness is free and it can be very helpful to others. We also watched short videos that explain social emotional skills like kindness, social awareness, empathy, perspective taking, etc. Other ways Marsh students are supported are by being able to talk to counselors and Chico State interns. And there's also a room called Gator Getaway where students can calm down if they're having a rough day. Students also engage with each other by participating in clubs, activities, and sports. For example, I'm a part of CJSF, a club on campus that focuses on community service. Overall, I think it's important for all students to learn about their own feelings, how to express themselves, and how to relate positively to others.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Felicity.
And my name's Elsa. And we're here to talk to you about some of the fun and creative things we do at Marsh to improve school culture and climate. Felicity is going to share with you some of the background information about how it all came to be.
In the spring of 2022, Marsh staff voted on an advisement schedule for our campus. This move allowed us to have essentially a 25-minute homeroom daily. This extra period has allowed leadership to communicate with the campus about events and opportunities to be involved in our campus. Our vehicle for communication this year has been We Video news announcements. These videos include information about activities, birthdays, sports, teacher features, and upcoming events. Marsh has given the campus a week plan, which includes outdoor games held by Marsh leadership each Friday.
On these Fridays, we rotate grade levels and provide outdoor activities with the intention of giving students time to just play and have fun. On Mondays, we send out a list of activities in the Google form. We affectionately call it the Fun Friday menu. Some of the top activities that the advisement classes choose are capture the flag, dodgeball, tug of war, and tag games. Each advisement class votes for which game they would like to play. All of these games are very team-oriented, and these teams allow students to connect with their fellow classmates.
We've also used this time to create class competitions and games. Some of those projects have included the Clash of the Staff, where teachers competed against each other in each of their subject, while the students spectate and cheer their teachers along. This is in addition to the Scarecrow Contest, Spirit Weeks, and more, which without this schedule would be nearly impossible.
We continue to do multiple projects outside of advisement, including the ones that the students of our ASB 2022 and 2023 class have created to make Marsh a more exciting place for students and staff. These classic staples of any leadership program include Graham's pumpkin pie eating contest, coloring contest, cultural celebration activities, and a fan favorite, teacher baby photos.
Last but not least, our Fun Fridays at lunch. Yes, we use that name for 2 activities. Each Friday at lunch, we set up spike ball, cornhole, volleyball, and have music to create fun energy and to communally celebrate another great week in the books.
As you can see, our school has many different cultures and people from different backgrounds, but Marsh leadership continues to include everyone in every way possible.
Our leadership also gives a way to enjoy school even more. Thank you for listening.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jamie Boyd. I'm an 8th grade web leader from Marsh Junior High School. Our web journey started at the beginning of the school year at 6th grade orientation. Since then, we have prepped during our web advisement periods to give the 6th graders a lesson every 3 weeks. So far, our lessons have highlighted the importance of closed versus open-ended questions, the importance of a positive attitude, and other important lessons. Our goal is to shape school culture and give guidance and wisdom to our kids.
Hi, I'm Mason Harrison, and in the orientation before school, we split kids up into groups, and we did games with them to teach them to make friends with each other. We taught their names, and we did games to help them in school to make friends and just to belong. And our most recent visit with the 6th graders was the frogs. The frogs were like those. It was our first hands-on project, and what they learned how to work together, and they listened really, really well and paid really much attention.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Any questions for Marsh?
Oh, Eileen.
Okay, there we have a microphone. I was invited out to Marsh at lunchtime in, I believe, April.
Yes,
And lunchtime is always my favorite time to visit, especially the middle school and high school campuses, because you can observe the whole population at one time. Having done this a number of times, not necessarily at Marsh, but at the other middle schools too, the first thing I noticed was body language of the students as they came and lined up to get into lunch. There wasn't the kind of typical behavior that I had observed in past years. They were respectful of each other's space. The noise level was moderate. It was amazing. And by the time everybody had gotten through and gotten their food and were settling in, again, the noise level didn't ever intensify to the point where you were wondering, oh, who's teaching these kids table manners? What I noticed as everyone finished lunch was the groups that just gathered kind of outside of the cafeteria, and it wasn't 2 or 3, it was 15 and 20 that were gathering together. And I heard about the play date game days, and there was a lot of excitement with that. And I had a number of the kids come and ask me, what did I do as a school board member? They had apparently been warned ahead of time that there was going to be a visiting person on campus. I found them just absolutely delightful. They were engaging and connecting, and I spent another wonderful lunch at a Chico Unified School. I appreciated all of the interaction from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gators.
Well, students, thank you so much for caring about your school and making it a positive place, and it wouldn't happen without our amazing staff. So thank you, staff. Thank you all for being here tonight. And we will take just a little tiny break for those of you that may want to sneak out and go home and do homework or anything like that. But we'd love to have you stay as well. So thank you again. I love their energy.
Oh, very good.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump us right into the superintendent's report. And we're going to start off the superintendent's report with some recognition, and I'd like to invite up Damon Whitaker.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here tonight. I'm joined by 2 of our school nurses, Julie Scalette and Olivia Canfield. And Olivia believes we're here tonight to discuss LVNs, but actually we're here tonight to celebrate the heroic efforts of Olivia on October 13th at Pleasant Valley High School. And so I've asked Julie Scalette to join me tonight to share the life-saving details of that day performed by Olivia.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Julie Scalette, as Damon said, and I'm a school nurse at Sierra View, All Ed, and PV. So the Chico Unified Healthcare team includes health assistants, LVNs, and school nurses. This team works to meet the complex needs of the students throughout the district. Tonight, we are recognizing an exceptional nurse in Olivia Canfield, who is an LVN for Chico Unified and an invaluable member of the team. She delivers care to the students throughout the district, working with students with type 1 diabetes, an array of medical procedures such as G-tube feedings and catheterizations, and she works one-on-one with medically fragile kids. Every day as an LVN in this district may look different. When orienting new LVNs, I always say, please be flexible. Our students' needs vary from minute to minute, day to day, hour to hour. I think I probably call Olivia more than I call my own husband. Hey, Olivia, I need you to drop everything and go here. Or, hey, Olivia, I know this is going to be tight, but can you squeeze another procedure in between your already tight schedule? Olivia is always gracious and sweet and says no problem with a smile. I count on her and am so grateful to work with her. One instance that I am especially grateful to Olivia for occurred at PV. It was what I call a perfect storm. Our health assistant was out sick, I was at another site, and a student came in a medical emergency. This student had a known severe nut allergy and had mistakenly eaten an item with the nuts in it. Luckily, Olivia was there assisting the substitute health assistant that day. Olivia knew exactly what to do based on the severe symptoms the student was experiencing and administered a dose of epinephrine to the student while staff offered support and called 911. Symptoms did not fully resolve, and per protocol, Olivia administered a second dose of this life-saving medication. She then rode along with the student in the ambulance to advocate on their behalf until the student's family could arrive at the hospital. Olivia is reliable, smart, friendly, and hardworking. I've never once heard her complain. She's an absolute asset to Chico Unified. So thank you, and I'm sorry for lying about why we were here. But I really wanted it to be a surprise, so.
All right.
Certificate, and we have a water bottle for you, and we're going to get a picture of this moment. So come on over. Come on, get in there. There you go. Congratulations, and thank you. And I'm going to actually kick off this next one, but it will be a little bit of a group effort. We have a really important leader retiring. Dr. Kathy Kaiser has been on the board for 16 years, and she decided not to run again. So this will actually be her last meeting. And with 16 years of service, Dr. Kaiser is the longest serving board member in Chico Unified history. She has, see, you made history. She's had a lot of leadership roles. She's had 3 terms as president. She's had 6 terms as vice president, and she's had 3 terms as clerk. So tonight we'd like to present you with a special gavel for your leadership within the district. And this gavel was made by Troy German, who happens to be Eric German's brother. So I'm going to grab that real quick.
All right. I was gonna, yeah. You can open it while I keep talking. Oh, okay.
During her 16 years on the board, Dr. Kaiser has seen us through some challenges. And while I hate to go back to those challenges, they include negative certification, budget reductions, layoffs, bargaining strife, the campfire, COVID. We've had a few challenges over those 16 years. But more importantly, Dr. Kaiser has led us through the rebounds and many, many wonderful accomplishments, including the passage of 3 bonds, not 1, but 3, a facility master plan, many new refurbished facilities across the district, interest-based bargaining, leading to positive relationships with our bargaining units, enrollment growth, many, many, many academic, athletic, arts, CTE successes, the list goes on and on. New stadiums, increased student support with TCM and wellness counselors that we heard about tonight, to name just a few. Dr. Kaiser is a huge part of Chico Unified history, and we'll miss her active involvement. So on behalf of Chico Unified staff, district office staff got a little bit creative, I'm going to use that word, and Eric is going to bring up a gift that staff kind of put together and present that to you. And we're just going to say, please be sure to read the label before you drink anything.
Woo! Holy smokes. All right, thank you.
Dr. Kaiser has served on our facilities committee since its inception. So I'd like to invite Julie Kissel, and following her will be John Carver to say just a couple words.
Good evening. Oh, what to say about Kathy? I brought some M&Ms for y'all tonight. I'll always be a symbol of Kathy to me. My appreciation, it's a symbol of her fairness and care of all the students in Chico Unified. She wanted to spread those M&Ms around. Every student gets some M&Ms. Every school gets M&Ms. So everyone is treated the same way, and that's kind of what she is. We have something that we want to give Kathy tonight from the facilities department, and one of the biggest projects, the showcase project that we did early on in Measure A, was the Center for the Arts at Pleasant Valley High School, and she played a huge role in that. So tonight we wanted to provide seats for Dr. Kaiser and for Cheryl. So these plaques will go on their seats at the Center for the Arts from here on. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for your service to the district.
Thank you.
And with that, I'd like to invite up John Carver.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. So before you open that, Miss Kathy, I just wanted to make sure that you understood that I heard that tonight was your last board meeting. And I could not let you go out without seeing this beautiful face one more time. So with that said, M&O was so appreciative of you being one of the cornerstones on this board for the last 16 years. Just a skosh more than I've been at Chico Unified. Well, half what I've been, 30. So a few months ago, I had one of my managers say my name a few times, and you asked, why does he keep saying that? And he said, because I was giving him $10 every time he said my name. So you said my name. So I didn't want you to get away tonight without me paying up my debt. So there's the $10 I owe you. Congratulations.
Oh, that's really great. That's a treasured $10.
And we'll miss you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to turn it over to the board vice president, who also has some words to say and something to deliver.
We'll see if I can do this standing up. Luckily, I have a loud voice. So I have a resolution to read. First, I want to say that I have not gotten through an agenda item today yet without tearing up severely, so I might actually choke up reading this. I apologize in advance. I have known Kathy in her role as a board member since I became a teacher and was involved with, presenting at board meetings, and I knew her in that capacity, but until you work with this person, you don't really understand how hard she works for this community. And I've been immensely grateful for her leadership and guidance, and now I'm going to tear up. So, with that said, I'm going to just go to the printed words. That's my preface. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. This is a certificate of appreciation for Dr. Kathleen Kaiser, November 16th, 2022. Whereas an excellent public education system is vital to the, is vital to the life for all California citizens and communities, and whereas Chico Unified School District relies upon the Board of Education to govern this institution, and whereas Chico Unified School District voters confirmed the election of Dr. Kathleen Kaiser on November 7th, 2006, as one of the 5 trustees to this board, and, I'm not sorry. Whereas, after 16 years of service to our students, staff, and family, Dr. Kathleen Kaiser holds the record for the longest-serving board member in the history of the Chico Unified School District. And whereas her impact has transformed, guided, and shaped Chico Unified School District through her years of exemplary service in many leadership roles, her deep generosity and unique combination of visionary leadership and concrete commitment helped to provide all students with educational supports. And whereas, in serving as this board's president, she has set the highest standards of ethical governance for those who will follow in the years ahead. And whereas the mission of Chico Unified School District, a partnership of students, staff, families, and community, is to ensure all students achieve high levels of academic and personal success, contribute to their community, and confidently participate in a changing global society by engaging in quality educational programs that address diverse student needs and promote learning throughout life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, Chico Unified staff and the members of the Board of Trustees, hereby extend to Dr. Kathleen Kaiser our sincere gratitude and appreciation for her outstanding service to this board, the school district, and its students. And be it further resolved that we extend our best wishes for her continued happiness and good health for years to come. And be it finally resolved that Dr. Kathleen Kaiser's exemplary performance as a board trustee shall be part of the permanent history of Chico Unified School District and will never be forgotten. Done in Chico, California on this 16th day of November 2022.
Thank you. I have part of my family here. The boys have been waiting to go skating.
Should we go, can we go over by,
Yeah.
by Eileen and take a picture?
Yeah. They're gonna go by Eileen, guys. Come over here. You guys gotta turn around.
Told you I didn't want to make it awkward.
I know. Thank you. Thank you all, and I want to thank my spouse, Cheryl, who has put up with this for 16 years. The boys who weren't even an idea at the point that I started this, and my son, Zeke, who built PV Stadium, so, and Josie. The younger ones had to leave with the baby, so. But thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate all of you, I really do. So,
Yeah, I do want to say, we are going to miss you greatly, Kathy, and you're leaving a huge hole. But it's also my pleasure to introduce Rebecca Conkin, who is here tonight, who will be stepping into that
good.
role. So Rebecca, welcome, and thank you for hanging in there with us.
Thank you, Rebecca, nice to see you. You are our newest member. All right,
So Dr. Kaiser, that concludes the superintendent's report, and I will turn it back over to you.
all right, thank you. And thank you, my family, for coming and waiting. All right. If you fall skating, don't tell me about it. Okay, so thank everyone for all of that. It was unexpected at the level. Do we have any announcements to make? I think Rebecca was our biggest announcement. Any others? All right, so with that, then we'll, are there any items from the floor? Erica, do we have any items from the floor?
We did not have any requests submitted.
Okay.
I don't know if we have people here that want to speak from the floor or not.
All right, thank you then. We'll move on. So with that, we move to the consent calendar. Is there anyone on the board that wishes to pull an item from the consent calendar? Yes.
Dr. Kaiser, yes, on the minutes of the last meeting, there's, of the minutes of meetings, the last meeting I'd like to pull for further consideration.
Okay, so that is item 8.1.1
Yes, for November 2nd.
for November the 2nd, okay? Anyone else wishing to pull an item from the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion?
I move passage of the consent calendar,
Okay.
minus the item pulled
All
previously.
right, so Matt moves
I'll second.
and Tom seconds. All right, thank you. So we will do a by name vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Was that one of the balloons?
Robinson abstained.
Lando, aye.
Kaiser, aye.
Dalby, aye.
Tennis, aye.
All right, so now to go to the,
Dr. Kaiser,
yes,
I misvoted. On the first one, I vote yes.
On the
It's the
first one you vote
second one
yes.
that
Okay,
I
the
have to
19th.
abstain from.
all right.
Somehow or other, I logged myself off, and I was trying to regain my footing here.
Okay, so we're now dealing with the special board meeting minutes for November the 2nd. Eileen?
Well, it needs to be a motion to approve, and then I vote,
Okay.
right?
Oh, you didn't want to comment on it, you just wanted to handle it separately because you were going to vote differently.
Right. No, I was absent.
Right, so you're being recused from the vote?
Right,
on
so.
this
Yes.
part. Okay,
Yes.
all right, so may I have a motion then?
Yes, I'll move acceptance of this item.
Okay, so Tom moves,
Second.
Matt seconds. Nice that you guys play swing. Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the vote's 4-0. All right, with that, then, we move to the discussion action calendar. And the first thing is the facilities master plan update, and that's Julie Kissel.
Thank you. Just information only, wanted to provide an update to the board on the progress so far. As you know, we approved the contract with Lionakis, our consultant, and on Monday, November 7th, we held a kickoff meeting with Lionakis and our district core group. The core group includes Kelly Staley, Jay Marchant, Jacqueline Kruger, John Shepard, Ted Sullivan, Maria Campos from my facilities department, and myself. The groups discussed the process of updating the master plan, what are the steps that are going to be taken, and we reviewed the guiding principles of our most recent update just to evaluate their current importance, or if we have tackled them and they can now be retired and new guiding principles put in place. We also reviewed demographic data and how things have changed since our last update. So it was sort of an introductory meeting. Since then, the facilities department has been busy scheduling the stakeholder meetings. There's going to be several stakeholder meetings that will involve the high schools, the junior highs, elementary schools, special education, universal transitional kindergarten, maintenance operations, transportation, technology, food service, and athletics, just to name a few. And we're also actively scheduling large community meetings. We will have a community meeting at each comprehensive high school, and there'll be 2 at each high school. And then we'll have 2 at each junior high school, and all the feeder elementary schools for the junior highs will be invited to those community meetings, and we're hoping to have a big turnout. We'll be also scheduling 4 steering committee meetings, and the steering committee is where the board representatives to the facilities committee will start to participate. Also, we will have a sampling of principals from the district at all levels, special ed, community business partners, and parents, And these meetings will be scheduled in January, February, March, and April, one each month. The Facilities Board workshop is to be held on March 1st, at which time there'll be a need for review and decision-making by the full board. And the final plan will come back to the board in April for final approval. So just wanted to give you an update of what's going on and what you can look forward to. You will be receiving invites for those community meetings, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
For that was item 1, so item 2, which is also informational.
Right, so this is the update on Parkview Elementary School Emergency Project. I will have to come back to you next month in December and give you hopefully the final report. All of the lighting that was needed has been completed. I met with the ramp folks out there today, and they plan to put in the ramps next Monday. So we should be completed before Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Okay. And then the corporate yard perimeter fencing.
Yeah, so we put out a bid notice for fencing along the perimeter of the corporation yard, and sealed bids were opened on November 10th. Our budget was $400,000. We received 3 bids. One from CR Fence Company, doing business as Humboldt Fence, one from Golden Bay Fence Plus Ironworks, and one from Northern California Fence. The lowest bidder was $243,795. And so we're here to recommend entering contract with Northern California Fence for $243,795.
All right, are there any questions? Any questions?
I got a
from-
question.
Go ahead, Matt.
It looks on the photographs that I saw, those were not photographs of our fence, which
No.
has not been built yet. That was an
Correct.
example of what it will look like based on some other location.
Correct.
Is
Wanted
that-
to show that to you.
Is that non-scalable fencing that I was looking at?
It is a 3-strand barbed wire, where typical is a 2-strand. So it has an intermediary, so they're 1-inch squares, so that is very difficult to climb. Can't get a foothold in it.
Yeah. What does that come to per foot or something like that, cost-wise? Do you have any sort of analysis on that? I'm curious because we hadn't talked about that when we were talking about, types of security fencing and stuff like that in the past. We were talking about the vertical bars and stuff.
Right. The primary reason why we're going with this fabric at the courtyard is because we have a lot of folks breaking in by cutting the wires. And so these are thicker, you can't get a tool in to get it cut. So not necessarily the scalable benefit, but or non-scalable benefit, but not being able to cut it. And I don't have a linear foot price for you. We could take this total and divide it by the 1,800 feet, but a significant portion is also in the gates. So we would have a skewed number, sorry.
Rounded was like 135 a foot.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Julie, we had a significant break-in this past year, and it seems to me that the loss in damage and stolen tools and catalytic converters was close to 60,000. It was, do you remember what that loss was in that one incident?
I don't know that number, I'm sorry. Do you, Jacqueline?
But I know that overall, we had multiple break-ins at the courtyard, and we're into the 6 figures. We're 100,000 plus between all of the break-ins that we had. Due to the catalytic converters and then vehicles not being down as a result,
Yeah.
which didn't allow our staff to get out to school sites. I mean, it has a
Yeah.
trickle-down effect, as well as a lot of tools that were stolen out of the bed of some of the trucks.
That was the big concern, is not only did we lose the tools and the damage to the vehicles, but we couldn't service our district while we were waiting for that stuff to be repaired. Thank you.
All right, any other queries? Any questions from the audience? All right, seeing none, may I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Tom moves. Eileen seconds. All right. We only had 4 people who could vote last time, so this time we'll again need name vote. So start with Matt.
Tennis, aye.
Dalby, aye.
Kaiser, aye.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
Okay, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. So now we turn to Jacqueline on the cow-shaped ventilation.
The Energy Commission applied for a grant. The acronym you'll hear a lot is CalShape, which is the California School Healthy Air Plumbing and Efficiency Ventilation Program. So we applied on behalf of all 20 of our school sites, and the preliminary proposal of award is just over $1.9 million. What that would do is that would have, we have an outside company that would come in and it would assess all of our existing HVAC units at all the sites, change the filters, and install CO2 monitors to determine which of our HVAC units could be used in the phase 2 of this funding for total and complete replacement. Obviously, here at Marigold, probably not going to be eligible on a brand-new facility, but we do have other facilities within our districts that would be potentially eligible for round 2 funding. But right now, we're just looking at round 1 or phase 1 of $1.9 million to be able to create that assessment of all of our school sites.
Any questions? Okay, Tom?
Do we have any kind of a rough timeline on phase 2?
The last I heard, so the deadline to apply for phase 1 was October 31st. It had been open for several months at that point. So what the Energy Commission is talking about at this point is round 2 is hopefully opening in late spring.
I don't know if you know this, but if we got any, would there be flexibility in spending such that we could, or in the timeline of spending such that we could roll it into any facilities updates we decide on during the master plan?
Well, I think it would be prudent as we're moving forward, and they're going to assess each unit, determine the need and whether it needs to be replaced, but I don't think it's a good use of any taxpayer money to replace something, let's say at McManus, right, which is then going to be the next, building in our facility master plan.
I'm just curious whether there was any kind of deadlines or, spending dates.
That I'm unaware of
Okay.
at this point.
Thank you.
Once we have more information on phase 2, I can provide that.
Appreciate it.
All right, any other questions? Any questions from the audience? I do want to compliment going out for this grant and winning it. That's a sizable amount to help us improve our air quality at all of our schools. So thank you for that. With that, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Matt moves.
I'll second.
Caitlin seconds, okay? And we can just have a voice vote on this. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, 5-0. Thank you. So Human Resources, Jim Hanlon.
A informational item only. As you know, we're a merit system district, and so we have a personnel commission, of which there are 3 members. One that you appoint, which is Gloria Bevers, one that the union appoints, that is Beverly Patrick, and then there's a neutral, Scott Jones, and each year a new board member is appointed or reappointed to a new 3-year term. This year the neutral is reappointed. The decision by our representative and the union representative was to give a 4th term to Scott Jones. He was first appointed in 2013, and so this is just a matter of placing that in record and notifying the board that that decision was made by the Personnel Commission.
All right. All right, so that's just informational, and this notes it. Eileen?
Yes, just if there's a way of letting Scott Jones know that we appreciate his willingness to continue to serve as the neutral.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we move to the approval of a revised and updated board policy on the Internet Acceptable Use Policy. And our hero is here.
Good evening, board members, Madam President. I was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago, and I'm afraid I wasn't able to be here, so thank you for allowing me to come in a couple of weeks later to present this to you. So this board policy we're looking at tonight is 0440.1, is required by the FCC for our E-rate funds. So I'm just going to talk about E-rate just a little bit. So we receive funds from the federal government called E-rate. We get about $276,000 every year for internet services and $330,000 every year for infrastructure. That would be to replace switches or do cabling projects. So in all, we get about $600,000 a year in E-rate funds. So for that, is a federal program. They have requirements that go along with that. And part of that is to be compliant with SIPA law. And so this board policy that we have was passed in 2007. And there are 5 bullet points on here which outline the SIPA rules. SIPA is the Children's Internet Protection Act. So that was passed back in the mid-2000s. And so this board policy covered those rules. They added 2 additional rules for the Protecting Children in the 21st Century Act. So they added 2 more items, and those are the items that are in red that are on here. One of those is we are required to monitor the activity, the online activity of our students, and the second is to provide training or instruction on being safe on the internet, and safe on social networking, in chat rooms and so forth, cyberbullying. These 7 items together, these 7 bullet points, is called the Internet Safety Policy. That's what the FCC calls that. So that's why we changed the title up there to the Internet Safety Policy. So that way it will align with what the FCC requires for E-rate funding. So with that, this is a public hearing. So if I could ask, maybe we could open the public hearing on this.
Absolutely. So we'll open a public hearing.
Very good. So the original 5 items were in a public hearing back in 2007. And so those items were open to the public, and the board voted to approve those back then. So the 2 things I'm really looking to tonight is to cover the 2 items that are in red. Those are on the screen over here. Of course, I'm open to talking to about any of the items that are on here, but those are the 2 items really that we're looking at tonight. So the first one, monitoring online activities. Through our filter system through BCOE, which is Butte County Office of Education, we've had the ability to monitor what kids do through that filter ever since the mid-2000s. And then back 6 years ago, we brought Securely Online, which we use for our Chromebooks. And through Securely, we're able to actually see really every place that kids go. And so it really has done a great job for us, because when kids are searching for things that are inappropriate or things that are a safety issue for them, it sends alerts out to our staff members so they can help kids. The second item of educating minors, that has really been organically done through classrooms throughout all the years. We're going to be adding, though, the ability to a more structure to that. So we're looking at using digital citizenship videos through a company called Common Sense Media that are grade specific, and then having students view those videos, view a video at the beginning of the school year every year to receive that training. So we have a way to deploy that right now. We're trying to come up with using some kind of technology to be able to show that they viewed the video so that nobody has to do it manually. That's been a challenge, but we're working on that right now. So that being said, any questions?
Matt?
Mine's more of a comment, so if you have a question.
Yes, I have a question. You gave us an overview 2 meetings ago on our monitoring of comments that might indicate a student was in trouble socially, emotionally, something that we could monitor and respond to immediately if a student was indicating they were in trouble.
That's correct.
the monitoring of something like this, how does that work exactly? You're not sitting there in your office 8 hours a day looking at the stuff that's selected. Well, I don't know. How do we monitor this?
So the security uses a artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
To watch for phrases and
Yep.
words, and it gives a rating to those, a 1
Yeah.
to 5 score. And so if it hits a certain threshold, it will automatically send that to our site counselors and our assistant principals so that they can see those.
This artificial intelligence stuff is just amazing.
And something we added a couple years ago during COVID was, they call it Auditor 24. And so what that does, if there's a progression of internet searches or there's a progression that the AI sees, it'll actually send that over to security, and they'll look at it, and if they decide, yes, this looks like a really, this person is in a serious situation, they'll contact the police for us right away.
What if it's a weapon? Picture of a weapon.
So if they're talking about weapons, it will see that. I'd have to ask them if it recognizes pictures of weapons. I know it does do some picture recognition, and so for instance, if there's nudity that's on a picture, it will identify that. We do have someone on the phone on Zoom with us today from security. So we do have Nicole. I'm trying to get her last name here. Sorry, Nicole.
Oh, it's okay. It's Bourbons.
Bourbons, thank you. So Nicole is with us today from security, so that way if you had any questions specific to security that I can't answer, like maybe if it identifies guns or weapons, maybe she might be able to do that. So,
And I am looking at the roadmap right now because as of today, exactly what you said, we can do quarantining of nude images as well as email recall, bullying, and I believe violence is next to be on email recall. But Aaron, do you have any highlights on images?
Yeah, so as of today, we are doing the nudity detection, and so we are going to be expanding on that in the future. However, I don't have too many details that I can be able to share at this time.
but it is coming in the future, it sounds like. So, by the way, I should mention, this is Aaron Smith. He's also with security as well.
Okay.
It's always I like having the securely people on because they're so powerful, and it's not often that you get to speak with people who have as much power as they do over the stuff that our kids are watching. So these nudity blockers and whatever else they're blocking, is it blocking or is it simply alerting us that kids are looking at that?
So there's two factors into play. Oh, I'll let you speak because I don't know your specific configuration at this moment.
So if the students are trying to view nudity, it blocks that. So any kind of pornography is blocked. This would be if a student took a picture of themselves and posted it to like their Google Drive. If they had a nude picture that they uploaded themselves, it identifies that. So if they're searching for it online, it's going to block that no matter what. That's always blocked.
Correct.
But this would be if there's something that they save to their Google Drive that's inappropriate.
So I recently, I have 4 students who are in Chico Unified. And I am aware, because my family, we monitor their activities pretty closely through Securely. So it's a good service that you guys provide. Recently, one of my children looked at a series of just the most ridiculous, inane content that you could ever really possibly imagine. Some sort of streaming web page of independent slasher films, basically, that was available to students. I understand that the World Wide Web is a vast, vast domain, and there's no one out there who could really filter every inappropriate or just plain dumb, worthless web page from student searches. But I would encourage you guys at Securely to please, 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 on behalf of every parent who's alarmed at how much time their kids are spending surfing the internet, not doing their studies, getting distracted by the amazing world of all the sights and sounds that are out there on the internet. to please take a liberal approach to what you decide to ban and prohibit. You know, I mean, it's just there's just about an infinite number of distractions out there on the web, and I think this is actually the downside of technology today in education. I understand that this is the world that these kids are growing up in, and they're going to need to learn how to use the internet, and it's such a valuable, powerful tool, and it's also wonderful. The downside is that there is, we talk a lot about the harmful things, people trying to ensnare our children in things that are dangerous to them. But I just want to bring up the fact that a lot of this stuff is just a total waste of time, and it's attracting them away from their studies. And I know that it's not your guys' fault that securely that this stuff exists. But I think that you should be really aggressive in limiting what kids have access to, more aggressive than you are. And, and let's keep going until we start to hear complaints from people that their kids don't have enough freedom on internet browsing. So do you get complaints that kids don't have enough freedom of internet browsing?
Well, are you asking personally or professionally? I feel like my daughter and I last night were just having this conversation about her screen time and only allowing 2 hours a day. I'm going to let Aaron kind of cover just on the professional side, but I would agree with you.
Well, my comment was more going to allude that our support tickets that come in where we see coming from students, they do tell us that. But as a general population, I mean, that's a different story. However, one of the things that Securely is able to offer is not only being able to allow for the school admins to be able to provide filtering on these devices and make those decisions of what's being allowed or blocked within those categories, but we do offer additional tools that for the parents that may be more concerned about what their child is doing while online when the device is at home, where they can be able to also have some say over that filtered experience. So as a parent, you could be able to restrict even more content than the school is able to apply on a given day, let alone you can be able to also do things like set up an offline profile schedule so that your child isn't getting up in the middle of the night and going and watching YouTube when they should be sleeping in the first place.
Right, I'm aware of being able to specifically go in and block pages. It's sort of a cat and mouse game where you're looking at what your children looked at, and then you're just kind of systematically going down the line, having to kind of follow them through their browsing activities and block this. But yeah, I mean, again, I would just encourage you guys to, create some kind of bot or something like that, and whatever dumb, worthless thing kids are Googling and looking at out there, then go ahead and throw it in the penalty box and try to get them back focused on their studies. That would be my admonition. So I think that this bullet point, to take it back to this document we're approving tonight, the new item on the top one, monitoring the online activities of minors. It's not always the dangerous things. Sometimes it's just the time suck things that they're involved in that are bad because of how much time students spend and just kind of screwing around.
If I could expand a little bit on that too, one of the reasons we chose Securely is the ability of parents to be able to log in and see everything their child's doing and be able to manage the device at home. And so it's an opportunity for our parents to really use this as a learning tool for their kids, because the internet's just this big thing that's not going away. And it's an opportunity for our parents to look and see what their child's doing or trying to do on the internet and have those conversations with them. Is this really an appropriate place for you to go? Especially on a school device. It's an opportunity for this to be a learning experience.
Something else I want to throw out quickly is it's frustrating sometimes when we'll block something on Securely, right? So they can't look at it when they're at home. But when they go to school, Securely is not in effect. Like that list, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that list is not in effect. Those blocks are not enforced when you're at school.
That is correct. So the parent policy, so the items that the parents block are not, because we've seen where if we try to do that, a parent might block an entire category, all of YouTube or all of something. And now when the students in class trying to do, they have an assignment to do, they can't access that assignment because a parent has made a mistake and overblocked, and it overblocks everything at the school site as well. So we're always open, though, if a parent finds something that is inappropriate, that they feel is inappropriate, we're always open to look at that and look at blocking that internally as well.
Again, Matt, as you know, we continue to try to improve and encourage our teachers to use the systems in place that we have available for them to screen, which means that they can watch every kid's Chromebook and see if they're not on a tab they're not supposed to be using. Again, we did training at the beginning of this school year, but it's a constant thing, just like you're saying about blocking things out. Obviously, when we got the ones that you were talking about, we were able to go on and block them. But it's, again, just continuing to encourage our teachers to monitor what their kids are doing when they're supposed to be working on something in class. One of those, bless you, one of those things that I want to continue to work on, and I haven't got to talk to John because I was at a conference for a couple of days, and it was a tech conference, and is how do we monitor, I would love to be able to show a teacher and a parent, this is how much time your child has spent in a classroom, you know, in a week, or on a tab that they're not supposed to be on, just to encourage our staff to say, look, this is how much time. Maybe we need to look at better monitoring what we're doing in our systems. I literally was talking to different companies, and none of them had a system in place to do that, to give me minutes. They can track me, tell me how many minutes somebody's on iReady, but they can't tell me how many minutes they're on another tab. So that's one of the things that we would like to continue to work on if we can, John.
Right?
Caitlin?
So I was wondering if with this issue of home monitoring and parents setting their standards of what they want their child to have access to, and how that shifts when they go to the school site. Is there a setting that automatically allows those at-home standards, like 3 o'clock? This is the what's open to this student's account, because that's outside of school time. So when they go home or when they're outside of school, so that it's an automatic trigger. So that
It is.
It is, and I thought so. So you can set it up. So I'm remembering. It's been a little while now since I've been in the science classroom. Even each class period I had, depending on the subject, I set my students in that classroom's basically like, this is my, and I had a template, this is my 7th grade life science template. These are the only places that they're allowed to go while they're in my classroom, and they're in here from this time to this time on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and on Wednesday they're here at this time, and that was set. And then if I forgot to turn it off, next semester they moved out, I would get in trouble by other teachers. But I digress. So that is something that transfers from home to school as well.
So it's 2 different layers, and what you did is awesome. You're using GoGuardian for that to
Oh,
set
that's
up those
right.
templates, which is fantastic, because that's an extra layer of filtering then that you can just say, I only want you going to these websites when you're in my class. Security is really, it's a web filter for everything outside of GoGuardian. So it will block everything, all the really objectionable things, and then when they go off-site, then the parent policy kicks in, so when they're off-site.
Yeah, GoGuardian, I don't know, I haven't seen the Securely platform then, like where it does the reporting, but GoGuardian was really nice in that it showed how, to the second, and at what period of time. So, I remember having a sub and being in a conference and opening up my GoGuardian for my students and texting the sub and saying, why is so-and-so been on this website for the last 30 minutes when they're supposed to be researching this?
That's awesome. Can you do some training for us? That's exactly what we need. That's awesome. It's a great tool. GoGuardian is just a really powerful tool when it comes to classroom management. I'm sorry, guys, at Security, because I know you guys do the same thing. But they're both a really great tool for classroom management.
Tom?
On that note, maybe I was misunderstanding what Jay was asking for, but GoGuardian does track time on a particular tab or website, right? So is that?
It does. You can, on GoGuardian, you can go back and see exactly what a student's been doing.
So was that not what Jay was looking for? Did I misunderstand that earlier?
I just want to be able to, and I haven't been able to see it, and maybe John can do that for me. I would like to be able to track amount of time over a week period, so we can continue to monitor, to encourage. If we have that ability through GoGuardian, then I would like to continue to do that training with our teachers.
So part of that, though, is that the student has to be in a session. So the teacher has to start a session, and then it's actually recording what they're doing. So if they're not in a session, then GoGuardian's not really watching.
And that's what I was
and keeping
told
track.
this past week
Yes.
from companies.
My last point on this subject, video sharing websites. I mean, I can imagine a situation in a classroom where you might want to have the kids have access to that. But I can imagine a lot of classes where you wouldn't benefit from kids having access to a video sharing website like YouTube, which is, of course, a vast domain. When left alone, I've noticed the behavior of some students, the ones that I know intimately. You'll just start watching a Mr. Beast video, and that'll lead you to another one, and then another one. And before you know it, your teachers turned you loose to work on something in class. And you're just watching this string of sharing videos instead. I wonder if we should look at the whole institution of video sharing websites like Vimeo and YouTube, and just maybe encouraging teachers, hey, maybe this is something that, as kind of a default, we kind of don't want kids to be surfing this stuff during class time. It just is a kind of a playground that's happening during class, and I don't know that it needs to be there all the time.
So, any other questions?
All right, any from the audience? All right, so seeing none, can I have a motion, please? What? Oh, I'm sorry, I need to close the hearing, you're right, thank you. All right, may I have a motion?
I move approval of these changes to our Internet Acceptable Use Policy Statement.
All right. I have a motion?
I'll second.
All right, Caitlin seconds. Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, 5-0.
Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you, John, for coming back. Okay, so just two more things. We agreed at the last meeting to allow current board members or even the new member, if they wanted to have a 3-minute statement about a position as an officer on the board that they were interested in. There are 3 officer positions: president, vice president, and clerk. So, does somebody want to make a statement?
Well, I'll jump in just to cover that a statement was made.
Okay.
We have we have guidance in our policy handbook about qualifications and expectations for officers before they accept nomination or nominate themselves for offices. And I just want to state that I support that guidance. I personally have been through the training for board president, board vice president, but not board clerk. So I am making myself available if anyone wants to nominate me during the process in December.
All right, thank you, Eileen. Tom, did you want to make a statement? No. Okay, Eileen, Caitlin, excuse me.
I have a statement prepared. I don't know that I need to go into the full details. We do, as Member Robinson pointed out, we do have the board president matrix in our handbook. The qualities we're looking for is somebody to efficiently and effectively run board meetings, allow all stakeholders a voice, have a clear understanding of their role as a board member and board officer, is prepared for board meetings, has depth and breadth of experience as a CUSD board member, attentive and involved with board decisions, able to facilitate development and articulation of the vision of the board, has knowledge of and is able to devote the necessary time required to the duties of the president, and has completed the board president workshop. So I think that I would just like to state that, I've been the vice president for the last year. Last December, I attended the pre-conference session for the California School Board Association for the Board President's Workshop in person. During my time this last year as the Vice President, I have experienced what it means to be a board officer, frequently attending meetings with stakeholders, including the cabinet of the district, Superintendent Steely, as well as teacher leaders, parents, and community partners that have reached out to me. I've also had the opportunity to run many formal meetings in my entire lifetime as a leader in various aspects of my life, including on this board. I did have the opportunity to run some meetings this year, and then have made myself available to the media to clarify board actions, agenda items that are important to our community. So if it is the will of the board, I would accept office of the president. It would be an honor and a privilege to continue to serve as an officer of this board in any capacity. And I welcome my colleagues to nominate and submit votes to the person, for the person that the total of the board feels is best to lead our district next school year.
All right, thank you. And Matt, would you like to make a statement?
I'd be honored to be reappointed as clerk.
Okay. Rebecca, it would be jumping over a whale. So, but if you wanted to say something, you're welcome. All right. Okay, thank you. All right, with that, thank you. And we will move to discussion action, setting the date of the annual organizational meeting of the Governing Board of Chico Unified. And the date proposed is December the 14th.
Yes, we're proposing December 14th as the board's organizational meeting. At that meeting, you will elect the officers of the board, as you previously just discussed, set the date, time, and location of the meetings for the upcoming year, set your agenda format, and then also fill any vacancies on committees. So we're recommending that be on December 14th.
I recall after being newly elected to the board in 2020 that there was some issue with having our meeting at a certain point in time on the calendar because of the official certification date and all of that. And I can't remember what the issue was, but I know we had to especially approve a change.
And we did check and make sure this date met all that criteria, so.
Apologies for questioning.
Or I
your
should say Erica checked
status.
and made sure.
Of course you did. Okay, all right. Thank you.
So just to clarify, there are legal stipulations about when this meeting has to happen. You will take your oath of office, and then these other very critical events will occur as well. So can I have a motion?
I move that our organizational meeting be scheduled for December 14th, 2022.
Seconded.
And Eileen made the motion and Tom seconded it. All right, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. That was 5-0, I believe. Okay, are there any items from the floor? There are two people there, so. Okay. If none, then is there a board member request to agendize an item? Okay. All right. Okay. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.